Hey, it's Emma Romano here, founder of the Thrive and Life Foundation, self-healing coach, and the midwife to your personal alchemy.
I am 𝙤𝙤𝙮𝙮, founder of the Heaven Within Foundation, CEO of Lifestyle Finance Australia, finance expert, life and business coach.
And you are listening to Inspired Conversations,
where we talk about the things that really matter. Yes, we go there.
We share together what's exciting us, inspiring us, and having the most profound impact on our lives and our clients' lives. And we do this to elevate and inspire you.
We cover it all from life, body, love, relationships, trauma healing, addictions, business, money, and all things woo-woo.
So sit back, relax,
and get ready to be inspired and laugh the fuck out loud.
Welcome, everybody. This is Emma Romano and the gorgeous
𝙤𝙤𝙮𝙮, and you are listening to Inspired Conversations, and we have another juicy topic for you, inspired by the recent incredible things that Em has been learning, and it is:
who are we punishing for our past trauma and hurts? So first off, right, everybody
go
grab a cup of tea, pause, grab a cup of tea, and get a pen and paper. So first off, what is trauma? Trauma is something that's happened that you feel powerless.
Mm-hmm.
That's all trauma is. So literally you could have fallen over at school and, no one picked you up. So you just feel powerless, right? That's what it is.
Yeah.
So trauma doesn't necessarily mean that you've been run over or kidnapped. I mean, that is traumatic. Of course, that's trauma, but it can be little things, right?
Yeah, so, trauma. Think about trauma more on a scale. So it's not like it's not usually when people think trauma, they think of the big things, like you're saying, like car accidents, rape, abuse, like really significant, huge things, all the way down to like that example that you would think might be a nothing sort of thing on a day-to-day living thing, where you, as a kid, you fall over at school and no one's there to help you and you feel powerless and abandoned. And from an emotional perspective, there's an emotional trauma there where you have had an overwhelming feeling of powerlessness and just overwhelming emotions.
And I tell you, one of the things, this is, oh God, do I go there? Fuck it, I'm going there.
You know we're going to go there.
I'm going there. One of the most traumatic things for a baby is controlled crying.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think of how powerless they feel, and they've only got one way to communicate, is to cry, and then they're left to cry. And babies can't self-regulate themselves. They will literally just cry themselves out of pure trauma response. And then we create a program around that. So we create like, how do I cope with life because of this event? So example, right? So say I've been put down to go to sleep, and it's like, no, don't, stop picking her up, stop picking Emma up. She's got to cry herself to sleep. I cry myself into exhaustion. So when I cry, no one's got me. I have to just go to sleep if I'm upset. So what programs have I just created there?
When I'm upset, I go to sleep.
When I'm upset, I go to sleep. So that's, what did Emma get? She got chronic fatigue. Seriously. So there was a program I created, chronic fatigue, and then if I cry, no one's coming anyway. So I just shut down my emotions. That's the program I created. And I was probably, 2 weeks old, 2 days old, who knows when that happened. But we'll create a program. We'll create a coping mechanism to keep us alive. So, then that's what I created. And so as an adult, who do you think got punished for that? Many people. So say if I'm with this beautiful partner and they can tell that I'm just not quite right, and they're like, Emma, what's wrong? Nothing. Oh, I'm really tired though. I think I'll just go to sleep. I just shut down on my partner. I won't share, because if I cry, they're not going to come and help me anyway. So who gets punished for my past traumas?
Oh, the answer to that's anyone who tries to love us.
That's right. Isn't it fucked?
Yeah.
So, you know, say at 2 weeks old, I've got this little suitcase, and it's Emma's trauma suitcase, because at 2 weeks old, she was not picked up, she was not cuddled, she was not soothed when she cried. Instead, she was left in a dark room by herself to cry herself out into exhaustion. Right? Helpless. I can't lift my head. I can't scratch myself. I might have had an itchy arm. I can't scratch it. Or there might have been something like the blanket dug into the back of me, and that's uncomfortable, but no one's got me. So one, I have to stay feeling uncomfortable. Program number one.
Safe is uncomfortable is what gets programmed into the system there. Yep, got it. Next.
Are you getting it? So
yeah,
2-week-old Emma, I have to be uncomfortable. If I'm uncomfortable and I cry, no one comes.
Yep, so emotions aren't validated.
Right? So my emotions aren't validated. And then I'm just going to fall asleep, because if I numb myself out, it's better for me not to feel. I'm freezing myself. I'm frozen. And then I'll probably create a program around, if I just stop crying, I will get more attention. So I've just created a fawning response as well.
And a robot.
Yes. So I'm just going to do as I'm told when I'm told, because that's when I get connection. And I was brought up like that. I was brought up Catholic, 1971. You do as you're told when you're told. But why can't I go to Sally's for Play-Doh? Because I said so. Oh, okay. You know, that's how I grew up. Who copped it? Who copped it because of that? Everyone. I punished everybody. I would shut down. Nobody knew how to read my feelings. Which would then sit there and
including yourself.
Trauma. Yeah. So who are you punishing because of your own programming? And you know, it's interesting. It's like, I'm going to dob Jack in now. So Jack, my son, you know, his first relationship, she really did a fucking number on Jack. And now he's met this girl, and he's having these conversations with me saying all this stuff's coming up because of, I'll call her Sally. All this stuff's coming up because of my ex, Sally. And I said to him, don't bring your suitcase of hurt and shame and trauma from Sally to this new girl, Sarah. It's not fair, because she'll be doing it to you too. So just deal with one suitcase, not two suitcases. And he said, yeah, you're right. And I went, you know, you have to look at what programs did you develop because of your first relationship with Sally.
Mm-hmm.
What programs did you develop? So he sat there on the bed yesterday. He goes, yeah. He goes, actually, I hide and I shut down. I go, well, that's not fair to Sarah. It's not fair to the new girl, because she'll have her own program and her own traumas where she'll be punishing you. So I said, don't punish Sarah for what Sally did to you 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like in the podcast previously, I was talking about how I went into great shame around how I parented my boys, from this realization that control is one of the worst things you can do for our kids. You know, and I went to this pity party, and Ben said to me, don't do that to me. Don't put your sadness of how you parented us, because that means you don't really love us. And I was giving this baggage. I was punishing my boys for my past trauma of how I thought I shouldn't have been parenting them. So who gets punished? You know, when I don't want to ring that friend because I'm hurt, but really, they haven't hurt me. I'm just still playing this program from when I was hurt from a girl in prep or grade 1 who hurt me then, and it's triggering me. So who am I punishing now outside of myself? Who's not getting me? People would do it. Kelly and I, we do a lot of, we're leaders, right? We do a lot of leadership and we're entrepreneurs and we help people daily in their businesses, in their personal lives, everything. We have to break through a lot of our old programming to be able to do that.
So much of it. Oh my gosh. If I think from where I was 10 years ago to now, like totally different person. It's interesting. Like I've just been really sort of like listening and receiving and absorbing what you're saying about like this who's getting punished, because it's never, and it's sort of I've been going through a really interesting process these last couple of months, and it's been around dismantling my flight defense mechanism. I'm not sure if I've spoken about it on any of the previous shows, but the thing that had been coming up for me the most was anytime I was experiencing a fear of loss of love with anybody close to me in my immediate inner circle, I would withdraw, I would fight, so I'd run, and then I'd want to hide and shut my feelings down because I'd want to get out first before I got hurt. Because I learned when I was little, in the environment I grew up in, having feelings and loving was really unsafe because there was betrayal, there was abandonment, and there was rejection. So any time, and this was just a process, I was like, I didn't even realize I had abandonment, rejection, and betrayal wounds. Like, holy shit, have they been like really coming through my field for me to really learn to love these parts of myself. And in that, like I can actually see there's parts of like very well given situations that set me up to really feel these things. But in that, like I wasn't feeling just the abandonment or rejection or betrayal from the situation I was in that moment. I was feeling it from when it happened, from when I was 10, when it happened from when I was 2. So, and it makes it really challenging to be able to see through a clear lens and navigate a situation to create more closeness, because as much as we do our best to not have our past be present in our future, or the new people paying the price of the wounds of those of the past, it's challenging. Yet I also believe, and I'd love your thoughts on this, Em, is that when we become aware of it. So, for example, when I became aware of that pattern of like, oh shit, like I'm not, rather than something's happened, and you know what, fuck that, I'm out of here. Like I'm just pulling my heart right out of this, and I'm closing off because I can see where this is going to go, and it's not going to end well with me. So I'm going to get out first. And I see that and I go, okay, well, why is that happening? I'm like, okay, well, underneath that is because I have a fear of loss of love, because this situation is really edging on a sense of abandonment for me, and then a sense of rejection and a sense of betrayal. And I do believe, though, if we have the tenderness, love, and care, those wounds of the past can be alchemized in the present with the people we're experiencing it with. Because what we're really wanting in those moments is to be deeply seen, deeply appreciated, deeply valued, and deeply heard. And if we have frameworks of communication where we can communicate this to the person in the present, then it creates this beautiful space of complete alchemization and collapsing all those timelines that were created from those wounding, where we not only get the opportunity to parent for ourselves, but the person in the moment becomes a reflection of the parent we need to. And there's this complete anchor collapsing, and then it rewires our nervous systems of what love, closeness, intimacy, and connection is. What do you think?
I think you're freaking spot on. And there's one thing I just want to add to it. When we are in a space of trauma from our past, we create, behaviors and habits. And whatever we believe, so if we're in a state of people aren't hearing me, I'm unheard, I'm unloved, I'm not seen, it doesn't matter if you've got somebody standing in front of you going, "Cooey, dolls, I'm looking straight at you, I love you, I hear you." If you don't believe it, you won't see it. You have to believe that you have it. Because and the greatest way to do this, if anybody wants to know, the greatest way to do this is See yourself. Hear yourself. Love yourself. Because if you don't honor yourself first, you will never truly feel, hear, or see how others honor you. You won't feel it. You won't see it. You won't do it. It's kind of like being, you know, some people love the beach and some people hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the beach is the beach. It's just a belief system.
Yeah.
You know, the beach didn't change. I can stand there with Kel in front of a rose bush and Kel's going, oh my God, I love roses. I'm going, roses? Have you seen the thorns? The rose bush is exactly the same. It depends what our belief system is, and they're the glasses that we're looking through. That's the filter. You will only look through the filter of your belief systems and the trauma programs that you have created for yourself. You know, and it's kind of going off the back of the last podcast. Guys, if you haven't listened to the podcast before, I really, you know, it's really important, I think, to really look within yourself and how you're doing life. Because it's so much easier for us to look at how everyone else is fucking up their life and upsetting us. And in this instant, you've got to ask yourself, not just who are you punishing because of your past trauma, but what part of your future are you punishing because of your past trauma? What part, are you punishing your wealth? Are you punishing your health? Are you punishing your own relationship with yourself? I think this is what we take a deep dive into our own programs and thought processes and how we do life is super, super powerful, and that's what helps us stepping into our sovereign self.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think like just really feeling into that aspect of how you were saying, like, who are we punishing? Sometimes we hold on to it and we punish ourselves because we don't ever want to let ourselves be that stupid again or do that thing again. So we internalize the punishments, like holding on to a thing of hot coals, thinking that it's protecting us, yet we're burning the shit out of our hands. Like it, or you know, drinking poison, thinking it's going to protect us when we're just killing our system. So it's kind of like there's a few aspects in terms of like how this punishment shows up. So yeah, it shows up in like all the people trying to get close to us and us being able to have the capacity to communicate what's going on with us and how our internal representation or perception of the situation is being created, regardless of whether that is what's actually happening or not, but being able to communicate it in a way that's not, you did blah, 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 more along the lines of like the self-responsibility of like, okay, so, you know, can one get permission? You know, can we have a chat? I've got something coming up that I would like to share with you and I'd like to support with. And then hopefully the person says yes. And if they say no, then you ask like, you know, when would be a good time for me to have this conversation with you? And then they will let you know. And if then you remake a time, but it's the, you know, in the experience of whatever it was that happened, it's left me feeling XYZ. And I know that was never your intention. And I know that you're not responsible for making me feel anything. And I can feel it's linking back to ABC, where I experience blah, 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 and it's pressing my buttons because of la, 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 la. And then once you sort of like explain, then you can have the request of the, could I please ask in the future when XYZ happens, you communicate to me in this way? Or when, you know, what I'm really needing from you right now to feel secure is I just need a hug and to need to know that you love me. But it creates that space where you can take responsibility for what you're sharing, share what's going on in your inner world so the other person has an understanding of what's going on. And then when you make the request for the need to be met, that's when the other person has the opportunity to step in and meet that need. And that's where I feel like that's the collapsing of the timelines. Also provided that you're doing the inner self work to bring those aspects into harmony and change the belief systems, because the two together, the inner work and changing the belief systems and being able to have really strong foundational conversations that create deeper levels of connection and intimacy with the people in your world, the right people in your world, creates this like super potent opportunity for us to really rapidly quantum heal and have those thriving, loving, intimate, amazing connections with the people that we love, like with our family, with our kids, with our lovers, with our like colleagues. All of that, it just creates that space for us to be able to be deeply seen, heard, and felt, because we're giving those things to ourselves first, which means we can experience them in the reflection of others.
Oh, it's so big.
Yeah.
It's so big. And you know, I just want to finish the loop of going back, saying that Kelly and I, you know, we do a lot of support work with big light workers and, you know, therapists, and we teach and we mentor and we do all of that. And, you know, a lot of them listen to these podcasts, and I love that. But you've got to ask yourself this, and it's so frustrating for me because I can see such amazing practitioners and they punish their future clients by not turning up because of a past trauma that stops them doing the work. And that...
Can you expand on that?
So if you've got somebody who's doing courses, and they want to be a light worker or they want to be a therapist, but they go, no, I can't do it. Why not? It's only because of a past trauma that you've stopped yourself from doing it.
So they're not making themselves available, therefore all their clients are losing because they're not willing to take that. It's that conceptual addiction. Oh, I'll just get more and more and more, and then I'll be enough, and then I can't. Like, just start.
Just fucking start. And you know what? When people say, oh, I'm doing too many courses, there's no such thing, by the way, doing too many courses. What there is such a thing is doing too many courses and not doing anything with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're allowed to do courses and not be a therapist, but stop fucking faking that you're going to be a therapist.
Yeah.
I think that's the part that annoys me. I really want to be a therapist. Well, you've been learning for 6 years now. When are you going to start? You know, but have the guts to go, no, I just want to study. I fucking love studying. That's
I want to do the work.
perfect.
Yep. There's no shame in that. Like,
No, it's perfect.
I got all of my coaching qualifications, had a coaching business, and then went into finance. And something just now that I've come back and really being available for clients. But in that time I did heaps of stuff. I did so much stuff for me.
Yes.
At the time it was for me. And obviously now I'm in the space, I have the time and the energy where I can actually share that at a much greater level. But until when I didn't have the time, it was for me, and I loved it.
You guys have probably got, I don't know, like who's listening or how far and or if you're doing these in a row or anything. But Kelly and I are like really great friends, business partners, but Kelly is actually my business mentor. So she's like my therapist, my business mentor, she's my everything. She's my NLP coach, she's my galactic freaking therapist, she's my everything. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And the same thing, like you saved my ass when I came out of that relationship last year. Like I did so much work with Em, like when I first came out of that, just to get my Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, like to put the pieces back together to get I would be lost without it. Like there's been so many things like where we've shared and changed roles, and there's just this beautiful flow between us within that.
I know, it was so beautiful. I was at Kelly's house like a week ago. It was a week or 2 weeks ago, and I'm in a lounge room. We were supposed to be doing business mentoring, and I'm in tears talking about boundaries. And I'm like, ah! And she's doing this whole process on me. It was absolutely beautiful. It was beautiful. And my whole reason of talking about this is this. Get rid of this fucking shitty program and stop punishing yourself.
And everybody else.
And everyone else, thinking that you can't be flexible in learning, can't be flexible in healing yourself. You know, give yourself a fucking break. We're all fucked up. And it's okay to admit that you're fucked up. Like, this is my advice. People say to me, Emma, how do I find a good mentor? I know how to not find one. I know one of the biggest questions is this. You ask a mentor or somebody who's teaching you, do you have any problems? And if they say, no, I don't have any problems because I've healed myself, run for the fucking hills. Because it is bullshit. It means they are in too much fear and in the perfection program probably to even admit that they have issues. Everyone has problems. I mean, sometimes they're really big ones and sometimes they're like, what color do I get my nails done this week? You know.
Yeah. And the other one, like, it's so true. Like, when you are looking, if they say that they're not working on anything, like, you don't want to go and invest your money on somebody who's not actively growing themselves. And one of the lessons I learned with this, because I used to be, oh, if it feels good, I'm in, kind of thing. And I had to really learn to slow down. And the thing that I learned was, who are you? What have you done?
Yeah.
Did you do it gracefully? And if you haven't done what it is that I'm trying to achieve, then I'm not going to choose to work with you. And if you did you do it gracefully? And because I want a strategy that's actually in alignment with me. Not if I'm not a get up at 5 a.m. person, I'm not going to follow a 5 a.m. club to try and turn myself into something else because I'm just going to shame the fuck all over myself. And I'm going to punish me and everybody else around me for being in my own shame about not being good enough at this 5 a.m. thing. Like, it's so important that when we're choosing to find somebody to help us with this, we actually look at, like, who are you? Do your beliefs, values, way of doing things align with me?
Yeah.
What have you done? Have you got the results? Are you actively working in this space? Are you, like, where are you at within that? Have you solved my problem? Because if I'm dealing with some kind of, like, big thing that I'm absolutely stumped with, it's kind of like I wouldn't take my dishwasher to the dry cleaner and ask them to fix my dishwasher. They're not going to know how to do it. They're going to look at me and go, we don't do that. Or, so it's about finding, like, who are you? Have you solved my problem before? And then did you do it gracefully? And that's when you look at the process. Is the process that they want to take you through to solve it, is it aligned with you? And of course, there's the edges where you're going to be a little bit outside your comfort zone, but not to the point where if you like to get up at 11 and you like to run a later version of the day and this person wants to get up at 5 a.m., I promise you it won't be long before you're not liking it. Who are you?
I love this topic of conversation about, where's your traumas, fucking other people up. And one of them is perfection. And this whole perception around, I've got to be this kind of person. I have to be a guru, or I have to know everything, or I have to be everything. It's not true. It's absolutely not fucking true. And you can take it from two very successful women that you're listening to right now in this realm. And any woman or male that's really successful in this self-growth environment, the ones that are successful are the ones who are honest about their shit.
Yeah.
Have you noticed? Like, we're like, yeah, no, I fucked up. I'm in a world of pain today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not playing today, can't play.
Playing.
And it's okay, because aren't we all human?
Mm.
And if you've got somebody who sits there goes, no, I don't have any problems, that to me screams a trauma response. So there's massive trauma that they're not even willing to look at.
Yeah.
So if you're ever, looking to get a therapist or looking to get a mentor or somebody who's to train you in being a practitioner, ask them, what therapy are you getting right now? Do you see a therapist? Do you see a energy healer? Do you see someone? Fuck it up, because otherwise it's like asking a dentist, what dentist do you see? Oh, no, I don't believe in them. What? I wouldn't go to a dentist who doesn't go to a dentist. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So again, back to that whole thing, don't let perfectionism fuck up your future or your relationships or your willing to learn and your desires.
Yeah. And the greatest, bless TCI, there's so many little TCI lines that I've dropped in this that they just drum into us in coach school, is you only need to be 5 minutes ahead of your client. And what that means is you don't have to be Tony Robbins before you're worthy of helping someone. Because if you remember from a vibrational law of attraction, you're going to attract somebody who has who's attracted to you because you've just solved the problem they're trying to solve. So as long as you know how to solve the problem that they're coming to you for, you are good. And also obviously use discernment. If you've had no experience with trauma, don't take on a big trauma client.
Oh shit, don't do it.
Don't do that. You're going to just don't do that. You're going to hurt them. There's an ethical obligation there. But if it's something
if you do want to be a trauma expert, come and see Em and I'll teach you.
Yes. Em has some amazing...
Good leeway. Thanks, babe. Thanks. Thought I'd just throw that one in there.
Whether it be to work on your own stuff, or if you actually even if you have been seeing a few clients and you want to find some really powerful processes that really help with this, Em's definitely a girl. We've just got you back.
Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness, what a session. Guys, thank you so much for listening today. We love you. We love doing these.
So much.
Give us, if there's something that you want us to talk about, go in the Facebook group. It's called Inspired Conversations with Em and Kel. And send us a message, or find us on Facebook, private message us. But we're all over the joint. We're on, where are we? We're on Spotify. We're on
TikTok, Spotify.
Everywhere.
YouTube, iTunes, everywhere.
We're on Snapchat. Are we on Snapchat?
No, we're not on Snapchat.
Sorry, TikTok. We're on TikTok.
TikTok. We've got a TikTok. Yeah.
So, please share these. We love you. We love you so much. And we thank you for spending the last half an hour with us. We really honor you. And we want to get to know you. So please drop us a message. Give us some love hearts.
Share us around as my little cat's just jumped on the bench. We love you.
See you guys. Bye.